Okay. Good night, Nina.
Good night, Susanna. How you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Well, kind of in a hurry, as usual, as every day, working a lot. But
Yeah.
here we are.
Okay. So what uh experience do you think you got out of writing this summary?
Well, to be honest, I think I really have to work a little bit more on these activities because um, providing feedback is not an easy issue. And I think it includes a lot of responsibility because we can just say, I like this or I didn't like this or just,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know I have to work on this more. But on this specific activity, I thought it was a good activity because we learn when we get like advices from a classmate or e-mate in this case. um, it makes us grow up or learn more. And it's important to know, okay, you have a problem in this activity, or you had a mistake or an error in this task. So it's always good to get feedback, even though it's not that easy to give feedback to another partner. What about you?
Yeah. I think in my case, I think it gets a little easier for me to give feedback because when you write somebody, I mean, you read somebody else's work, you kind of notice more of the mistakes, like what you can add or what you can take off, like what other words you can use to make it more interesting, or formal phrases and all kinds of things like that. But for me, since I was in high school over there, I remember, well, in the U.S., I remember the teacher I had usually made us write essays and summaries and all that. And I think it's important to read each paragraph, and every time you read it, you get like the main point. Like just be like, you know what, this is the main point, and then the next one, and the next one, and maybe highlight or just try to memorize like the main point of each paragraph, just to learn like the cue sentences and phrases of the paragraph.
Uh-huh.
and and I think as an experience, like I got that it's like extremely hard to work online
Mhm.
and to use these technical, I mean, technological devices, because as you can see, we're not that familiar with it. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
connect a lot. You can keep talking.
All right. Well, you're totally right, and I agree with you when you mentioned that we have to work on this task more. And well, it was, I think, good for you because you already had an experience before. But as English teachers, we don't really focus on summaries or essays that much. We just try to write texts or sentences, even though we read and we try to improve our knowledge, but we don't really work with summaries or essays in our
Yes,
classes, right?
yes, because our students are not that advanced.
Yeah, that's right. Well, in this particular case, I'm gonna say some of the corrections. Well, not corrections. The things I highlight a little bit on your summary. I will say that
Uh-huh.
actually I graded as excellent because it really was good. It was really good. Um, I just found a few mistakes and errors, and actually I thought they
Mhm.
were more like finger errors, like or you just forget sometimes to write the letter, but I do
Mhm.
not think they are like fossilization errors or something like that. Um, and what else on your, okay, on your summary? I liked a lot that you mentioned something about, as I mentioned in your feedback, you include some real information, because when you mentioned about the boys or girls that work in a fast food restaurant, it is true. They are trained to make the food and to make it fast,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And make it
So,
like a certain way, just not change it at all. So that
uh-huh.
means like what I learned from the summary, it means like right now we are not as human as we think we are. We're actually like robots, you know? Like we
Mm-hmm.
get like in fast food, we get like a number one. We don't know
Uh-huh.
exactly what a number one has, but we know what we're gonna get. We're gonna get a hamburger and we're gonna eat it. We're not gonna complain. We're not gonna say anything. That's what we want.
Yeah, just get it and eat
And
it.
yeah, yeah, that's what we get. And that's true because usually right now, in all aspects, like in teaching, we usually just like give the class and that's it. We don't really stop, observe the students and think, maybe they're like a little bored or maybe they're this is not the way they want to learn. We just, what, this is the way you're gonna learn because this is the way I was taught and you're gonna learn like this.
Uh-huh.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm
I
trying to
agree
say.
with you. And even though we usually realize that that's not the correct way to teach our students, right?
Yeah, we do know it.
But
We just don't have to.
unfortunately,
Hmm.
yeah, unfortunately, we don't have like how can I tell you, like the best schools, or we have large groups that doesn't really help us. And there are some other factors that affect
Hmm.
us, not just us, our students especially.
Yeah, exactly. I think what I learned from this experience is, besides what I just said, that in order to understand a text, we have to read it like several times because, to be honest, like the first time I read the first lines, I was really like, what is this? And I was like, you know what, relax, because I was like really not wanting to read anything because I started again and I read it like 3 times or four, I don't know. And then I was like, you know what? I got the point.
Idea.
And then yeah, and I actually was talking to my cousin about the text, but in Spanish. So I was kind of
Uh-huh.
developing my own ideas in Spanish, and then after that, I wrote it like in English. And
Yeah, I think that's the main idea. Understand it and then paraphrase about it. I mean, understanding
mhm,
using our own words, right?
yeah,
About your feedback for me,
okay,
I noticed a lot of mistakes in my case, and but I didn't notice them before. I just
yeah.
did after I read your feedback. And as I told you, it's good to get feedback on our activities, because that way we realize we're making mistakes,
Uh-huh. Because they make sense.
and that's
Like
the way
my
we learn.
summary, yeah, like my summary makes sense to me because I wrote it.
Uh-huh.
But it's not the same case to another person that like reads it. Like when you
Another point
say
of view.
another point of view, and like when you say that it focuses a lot on how these changes have been reflected in different aspects of life, and like you said a lot. I said you can use formal vocabulary like mainly, like to make it more interesting. Or when you said reflected in different aspects of life, and I was like, well, then what kind of aspects? Like um, like details, like aspects in education, on social life, you know. And like when you
That's
said
right.
when we teach our kids, I was like talking, she's talking like like they're her children. Because sometimes that's how we consider our students, right?
Yeah, that's the way we do.
But Yeah, but it's not as we can say like formal. That's why I say you could put students or pupils, you know,
Yeah,
and that's
that's right.
just like what I corrected. Mhm.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think some strategies. Wait, yeah, hold on. We can use. They are right here. I think rereading is a good strategy because we have to reread to understand. If we are in a hurry, we could skim for the main points, skimming and scanning.
Uh-huh.
That is a good, really good strategy to help us like with problems like in like to get the main ideas or and I put another one that says identify keywords. It's really important like when we see like a date or we see the name of an author, like
Character.
go an author, the person that writes it, go exactly like where that is because the author or the person whatever says that this theory has been experimented and it resulted in this and that and that's how we get like the main points too.
Yeah, that's true. Reading and rereading. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
I think that's one of the best strategies because that way we understand better. Yeah, you're right.
Do you have anything else to add? Like, what do you think I should add to my video? Like, I mean, to my summary. What else do you think I could like to make it more interesting?
Um, well, I think that you include all the aspects referring to the article. I mean, you really had a good summary of the article, so I thought it was very good and complete. So I have no idea what else you could add in order to make it more interesting,
Then I
because
think
I
I'm
think it
gonna.
includes, yeah, it includes all the information.
Okay.
Okay,
I
well, I think that's it.
I think that's it, and it was a good video. And see you soon.